Okay, so looking at the different site types, is there anything that stood out to you? It can be positive or negative.
Oh, I had one for this. In the personal section, I liked the Drew Wilson because there wasn't a lot of stuff clogging up the homepage. So it didn't automatically make me go, whoa, that's a lot of writing there. I don't want to go there. So I like that one, but I do like the storepurevolume.com on e-commerce.
E-commerce site type, okay.
Yeah, I like those ones.
And
Because that looks like a one where you would like the groups of the sounds that you want. That could be a good layout for that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. That's a good point. So you like it to be kind of visually signify instead of text. Okay.
Visually stimulating, because people who will look at a lot of text, they'll then be like, oh, it's a long thing. Like, people will read terms and conditions and it's a lot of text, so they will then be like, well, I'll skip that and I'll skip that and I'll skip that, and that's one thing that you don't want.
Yeah.
Right.
Good point.
Next. What's that? There's another one I liked. I can't pronounce that name. Dominic Worsprosty?
Yeah, it's alright. It's okay.
Yeah, the portfolio one.
Okay, and why is that?
Because is that a blog? Don't really want a blog section for that. Just mainly because of the colour scheme on that one. Because it's got the trees and the person draw me into it.
Okay.
So then I'll be like, oh, yeah, that's quite a nice picture.
Okay.
That kind of thing. So then that will draw me into the website and it will keep my attention for a little bit, and then maybe something below it will then keep my attention for a little bit longer.
Okay, that's a good point.
What's this one? Photography. I'm not a big fan of the littlehellos.com in photography wise, because it's just too busy.
Okay.
That looks very, very busy to me, and I don't think that'd keep my attention for very long, or it would divert my attention.
Which one is that you're looking at? Oh, okay.
The littlehellos.com.
Oh, right.
Because there's quite a lot going on there, and that's not something that I think would keep my attention for very long. Oh, I didn't notice this one. Concretehermit.com in the e-commerce one.
Okay.
That's actually better than the Store Pure Volume one, because it's not. There's a lot more on the homepage than the other one.
Okay.
And it's laid out kind of the same, and you've got more room to put all the stuff that you would want, like your sound packs and everything along those lines. So yeah, I prefer that one out of all of them. That one.
Do you think the fact that background is white has a factor in that, because it sort of makes it look more stripped down? Okay.
Plus, it also means that colourblind people can see it.
Oh, okay.
I'm pretty sure colourblind people, it's usually reds and yellows and things like that. I'm pretty sure, but I don't know. But that's a big thing you probably need to take into account as well when you do a colour scheme.
Okay.
Colourblind.
All right.
Yeah. Right.
All right, that's cool. We'll move on to the next chapter now. So if you just want to...
Where is it?
That's all right. Yeah, there you go. The orange bit. So if you just want to have a look through and let me know of anything that stands out positively or negatively.
The rockbeatspaper.net, bit too much colour on that for me.
Okay.
The fact that it's 2 blocks of colour, and now that may be because that looks like a different topic. In the retro section, it looks like a different topic, but I think looking at it on a particular screen,
yeah,
the colours would just make my eyes go a bit funny, because there's too many. It's not that there's too many colours for my eyes to take in and like calculate, and then it's the fact that the way it's just like chopped, it seems to just not flow.
You feel
like a thing.
You think it's distracting?
Yeah, it's a little bit like I don't know which colour to focus on at one point.
Okay.
But I do like the black bit at the top with the colours.
Okay.
The actual header, I do quite like that, but only because that's minimal. That's not got. It's not like a hard kind of thing. There is different colours that are breaking up the black. If you get what I mean by that.
Good point. Okay.
See, I do like minimalist websites, but too minimal, it looks like you haven't tried.
Okay.
That's one of the things that, like, if I go onto a website or something and it's just really, really basic, I'm like, well, that didn't take very long, did it?
So yeah, you want more than just text and
I'd want
plain background.
A lot of different mediums there. So there's some text and there's some pictures that show different aspects, so that more of my brain can take it in and evaluate what I think of that whole website. Super clean. See, I don't really like super clean ones either, because it depends on your target audience. If your target audience is, say, 16 to 25 or something like that, then you don't want it overly squeaky clean, where you'd want bits of colour and you'd want different size text and you'd want stuff like that, so it kind of goes with their kind of, I want to say way of looking at the world, but everybody's way is different. But I know when I was looking at websites from 16 to 21 now, I like different colours and different size texts and stuff like that.
Do you think if a website was so minimalistic, do you think when you first look at it you would actually go back, because you feel like you press the back button and find another website because you feel like it doesn't look professional? Does that make sense? Do you feel like that would put you off actually using it?
I have done that before, actually. Yeah.
So you kind of judge it on its cover, sort of thing.
Yeah, you do judge. I do judge most of my homepages by most of the websites by the homepage, because if the homepage doesn't grab me, not much on the rest of the website will probably. It's like judging a book by its cover. You shouldn't do it, but you do.
Fair enough.
So,
okay.
Yeah, I quite like the homepage. One of the main things that I would think about if I designed a website would be work on the homepage. You know, get that, because that's the first thing that people see.
Yeah.
So, and then work on all the little bits that go after it. I do like bitflydesign.com in the distressed one, only because it looks, it's not minimalistic, but it's not overly distressed either, like Designs by Partcipant.
Okay.
It's not over the top with that. Three-dimensional. See, now this is where I'm going to contradict myself.
All right. Okay.
I quite like sketchy designs.
Oh, okay. And why is that?
Or collage as well, because there's something about them that is pretty to me. I think that's the word I'm going to say. Like artinhk.com, that's pretty to me, but it's not too pretty where you think, oh, it's totally female audience, target audience females, the girly girls, all that kind of thing.
Were there any examples that jumped out at you?
On this one,
Yeah.
artinhk.com, that's the good one that I liked. The pretty one, which one was it? I don't remember. The butcher shop one.
Oh, okay.
Only because if you don't look close enough, the drawings actually look like flowers.
Oh, okay.
Instead of actual, when you look closely, they look like meat.
Okay.
So I looked at it thinking, they're flowers at the top, and then I realised, no, they're not, they're actually meat. So, I don't know, there's certain colour schemes and there's certain ways of drawing things that appeal to me in the sketchy side of it, but some that I find are very more girly, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, that's good. You think collage looks too messy? Would you agree with that?
Some do. Some look really, really like over the top. You don't know where to look, kind of thing. Right.
Okay. So yeah, would you agree that was it the collage? I can't even remember.
Collage, yeah.
Yeah. Would you agree collage is messy? Do you feel like it's too busy and noisy?
It depends. That's the thing, because it depends on the topic that you're doing. For art-wise, you want people to see all the kind of, messy kind of thing. But for more professional things, I don't think it's the best way to go. Only because it does look like somebody set it up and, they're maybe a student or something, and that kind of thing, it's very hard to explain the way I view it.
But not suitable for an e-commerce site.
Again, it depends on the demographic that you're after.
Okay, all right. So, what would you say? Would you say that it would work for a young demographic?
Yes, but not too much of it. Not like it's all over the page, like the music.co.uk, the rmusic.co.uk one. Not all over the page, but a little bit of collage is fine. That's not too bad.
So you think it should be used sparingly?
Yeah.
Okay.
To give effect to it and not over the top.
All right. Okay. Was there any other design styles that stood out? How about giant type? Do you think that indicates exactly what the website is at first glance? Because I think that's what they're trying to achieve.
Yes.
You do. Would that be something that you think is a benefit or a good thing?
Yes.
Okay.
Knowing exactly what website it is straight away on the homepage, you know that you're on the right track. With that would help, as long as it's not overly big, so it's like in your face straight away.
Okay.
So the blogsolid1.com, that's kind of the size I would kind of go for. because it's not in your face, but you can clearly see it.
Okay.
Right.
What about different types of themes? Is there anything that you like personally?
Well, personally, because I like writing, I mostly like seeing like old kind of, not minimal stuff, but mostly ones that look kind of fluid, kind of, so like the old paper one, that would appeal to me, but it wouldn't if it was something that wasn't to do with stuff like that. So yeah, by theme, there's probably I'm not a big fan of splatters.
Oh, okay.
Over ones. I'm not a big fan of that.
Is it too chaotic?
It's not that. It just looks like a blog that you get on WordPress, because you can get splattered blogs on WordPress, and I don't know. It's something to do with splattered.
Amateur?
Hmm?
Do you think maybe it's kind of amateur?
Yeah, a little bit. If it's for like art, something, that's fine. It's, you can get splattered art, and they're quite successful. But I don't think on a professional website for the specific demographic is the way to go, unless it works with the colour scheme.
Okay.
This is the thing. That's what the thing is. If it works with the colour scheme and it works with the text and everything, then by all means it will work. But other than that, it might not.
How do you feel about the workplace one? Because some people felt that it worked because it was kind of a novelty, but others didn't like the fact that it reminded them of work.
Yeah.
How does that make you feel?
I'm not quite liking the workplace examples in here, actually. They're a bit too... I really want to say old. If you know what I mean. Like, they're not for the set... Like, you said your set audience was, like, kind of my age kind of thing, but if you're going from students, it'd be like, say, if they do it in college, it'd be like 16 to 20 something. These seem a little bit older, and they seem a little bit like they're not for that demographic, they're for like 25 plus. So I'm not a big fan of the workplace one.
Okay.
Okay, right, let's go online.
Hey, put your stuff over here.
Yeah.
We're going to use this table, so we might as well leave it here.
No, I'm not a fan of the location-based ones either.
Okay.
Right, so these two are in there. You just,
No,
oh,
let's do it.
yeah. I said if you ask me to.
Okay, right, let's do it.
Excuse me.
Let's watch that presentation.
Ooh,
No, don't
I
worry.
like that
Just
one.
do this story.
Sazenmedia.com,
Okay.
because
So, these two.
of the artwork and the colour scheme. Now that's contradicting what I've said about minimalist stuff and art, but
Okay.
I really like the way that is designed.
I suppose it's not really
There we go,
contradicting
there
because
we go, there we
the
go.
design is kind of simple, and you did point out one that looks kind of similar to that earlier on.
Yeah, I did.
You did. Okay.
Yeah,
Alright.
I'm pretty sure I did, yeah.
Yeah.
But I do like that. Yeah, it was the one with the trees and the man, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I do like that one,
Okay.
but then that gives it kind of like a fantasy element,
Yeah.
and I'm not quite sure what that website's for.
Which you like? You like the fantasy
I,
stuff, don't you?
yeah, I think that is actually for selected works. That may be for poetry.
See.
And that's only a basic website because it says final website come 2007.
Okay. Let me just pause that there. So in terms of colour, is there anything that stood out to you? Again, positive or negative?
I don't like purple
Okay. And why is that?
because Certain colours, certain shades of purple are fine, and if they're mixed with different colours. But I'm not a big fan of purple on websites
Anyone know how to
because it reminds me too much of wine and bruises
Okay.
and stuff. So the connotations with the purple, and it looks a little bit too girly as well.
Okay. All right.
I know that it's wrong to say certain colours are certain genders, but people will make assumptions
Yeah.
on the colour.
Do you think that'll neglect the male audience?
Unless they like purple, probably.
Okay. All right.
Unless it's a very, very dark kind of purple.
Okay.
Like the Advent Grape one, that's a very dark purple. So that one would probably, the background anyway, that would probably go to a male audience. But
Okay.
not the really, really light ones, because, some people do associate purple with girls. And
Yeah. Makes sense.
brown looks professional,
Okay.
but brown to me is a little bit boring. Unless it's got white and yellows and stuff attached to it.
Okay.
But probably the one that I like the most on the websites that I do go on, black, white and red.
Okay.
Only because they're two primary colours of the black and the white, and the red just gives it a little bit more pop. And it's simple and it's smart. It's not one of those kind of trying to be different ones, and you will not get somebody say, "Oh, well, that looks girly," or that's rejecting the male audience, because black and white, they're anybody kind of colours. Although I do like grey personally, but that's my own personal preference. But the blue ones, look, they do look professional. Usemime.com, that looks actually really quite nice. It doesn't look cold like usual blue connotations do, because there's two different shades of it, and it looks more like the sky than of the sea. But I quite like deep blues as well, because I think mav.com.pl, the colour scheme of that, and usemime.com.
Okay.
Those are my two ones that I really like, because they look fresh and they look professional, and they seem calming when you go on a website.
Okay.
Whereas some black, white, and red websites, they look very. Sometimes they can look quite aggressive, and you don't really want that. You want like calm kind of colours. Well, I do when I go on websites. If it's calm in colour, I'm like, oh, that looks quite nice. I like that.
Okay.
That kind of thing. But yeah, probably the blue then.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. So, in terms of site elements, is there anything that stands out to you?
I quite like the fact of the icons, only because of the picture reference as well. Because if you've got usually, I know sometimes I'll look at a word and I'll be like, So if there's a picture as well, just even like a little tiny icon of what it possibly is, like with the little bundles that you were talking about earlier. If you have them and then you have like a little icon with it, that will then help, because somebody might be like, oh, action, kind of thing. I would probably say I do like icons, but I'm not a fan of folded corners. I don't like folded corners because it just looks like when you get a piece of folded paper and somebody gives you a creased piece of paper, professional wise? You think?
Yeah, I know, but
Well, you haven't taken care of that at all.
Okay.
That kind of thing. Now,
No, but you gotta slam it.
with
There's not even space to slam my hand.
the web
Okay, do it slow.
Webstruments one,
5. Wait.
one little
practice
folded corner is that doesn't bother me. It's when it's like
Oh,
the
you will,
Lewis
You will, not you.
Alarcon one,
No.
where it's like crease at the top.
that is fine.
Stylistically, that works. Maybe it works for that, but it's in a different language, so I don't know what the website is. But stylistically, that may work for it, but I'm not a fan of it.
Well,
Okay.
I don't like
But-
that bit because that's got like.
Keeping on with the corners, rounded corners are less harsh. They're not as they're not as like here it is specific square, you know, that kind of thing. It's a little bit more.
You might want to move your phone a bit back.
I want to say nice,
No, wait.
softer as well, so it's not as aggressive kind of thing.
Don't go too.
But it all depends on the colour scheme. Now with the blue, the US Marbeto one,
Keep your hand on it.
with the blue in the background
Go.
and the white,
Good. Okay, cool. Let's go. Phil.
that one
Sorry.
That one's nice. Yeah, that one's probably nicer than all the other rounded edge ones. Although I do like the
Wait.
Guys,
This is what you gotta do.
guys, I'm trying to do an interview. Can you just keep down a bit? Thank you.
2,440 media or whatever that one is. That one's nicer, but only because the blue then goes into the white, so it's not as harsh.
Okay.
I don't like rays.
Someone said it would be perfect for a festival sort of thing, but it's
Yeah.
not right for this type of site.
Whenever you think of rays, you think of sun. I think of sun rays, and sun rays don't do it for me that much.
Okay. All right. Makes sense.
Now
How about tags?
tags again. It reminds me of fashion a
Okay.
lot, so I don't think that would be a suitable thing for it because it does remind me of fashion and buying things and stuff like that. If they're very, very small, maybe, but not really big ones. I don't know, it's just one of those things. Crests are good to have.
Okay. Why's that?
Like little,
I did.
oh, what's it? You know, like a brand kind of thing.
Yeah.
I don't mind if they're crests instead,
Okay.
if you get what I mean, because it looks a bit more professional as long as it's done properly.
Mhm.
You know, like it's a proper branded kind of thing. Stripes, I'm not a fan of stripes, really. They make my eyes go funny. Especially if I'm not wearing my glasses. If I'm looking at the screen, they make my eyes go very funny. Yeah, probably the folded corners. Although I do like textured backgrounds.
Okay. You think it gives a bit more
Yeah.
character?
Yeah, a
Okay.
little bit. It's very, very subtle, but it gives it a little bit more depth.
Okay. Do you think that would be right for a professional site, for a business, or do you think that would suit better for a personal website?
Depending on how textured it is. If it's over the top textured and you've got like the non-stop TV one, but it was all the way down, I would say that's more of like a personal one because
Okay.
you've got a background. But if it's just a little bit of texture to it, like the purevolume.com, that's not too bad. It's got a little bit of texture. You can see in the background just a little bit of texture, but it's not overpowering. And if you didn't know it was there, if you didn't pay attention to it, you probably wouldn't get it. But if you like that kind of thing, you probably would pick it up. But yeah,
Okay.
Folded corners, definitely.
All right.
So it's not as harsh.
Okay. Moving on to the sites by structure. What would you say is your preferred method of site structure?
I don't like.
Just let it bounce, it's easy. Just hit it all the way.
That's horizontal, isn't it? It's horizontal scrolling that way, isn't
Yeah.
it? Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that.
You think it's unnatural?
A little bit. No, not too bad.
Okay, it's got like two
But I'm used to going with the mouse and going up. No,
Yeah.
so going across, I'm like, hold on a minute.
A bit jarring.
Yeah, as soon as you like realise that's what it is, you don't think about it. But at some points, if there's not a defined arrow, you won't know to do that. So then you'll just go vertical because that's obviously what the natural way is of doing it. Now zoom in, I think, is a little bit important, but only for pictures and things.
Okay.
So say if you have a picture of somebody and it's only tiny, and then a zoom in wise, or you're trying to sell merchandise, that's better because some people might not be able to see that clearly. So you'd want a zoom in feature there. What else? Normal navigation I find is easier and all this kind of weird kind of navigation around the page kind of thing.
Okay.
I don't like tiny stuff because you can't see it. I don't like one page where you've only got one, like the home page is where everything is. I don't like that. I like
That would kind
different.
of suck.
Yeah, I like different sections. So the tabs one, because then you'll spend more time on the website because you're going through the tabs, so you'll find more stuff.
And also with tabs, when you when you roll the cursor over one of the buttons, you either get a drop-down list or like a sub-horizontal bar. Which one do you prefer?
The drop-down menu wise,
Okay.
because you can clearly see that is still in that section, and it will stay in that section unless you scroll off it, which I've done many times, and it just disappears. But you'll still know. I prefer drop-down sections only because it's easier to then move the cursor just down to what you want.
Okay.
Definitely for drop-down menu. I think it's a lot cleaner as well and a lot more professional than that. But yeah, I've got a lot to say on this anyway, so it's fine.
Don't worry about it. What are some of the positive aspects that you get when using an interactive product, such as a website?
Well, I can save it in a bookmark so that I can go back to it.
Okay, so you like the idea of being you can organise it.
Yeah,
Okay.
you can organise it, and the fact that it gives you something to do.
So entertainment.
Yeah,
Okay.
like even if it's for a professional website, you're still doing something. It's not like as long as it's captured your attention, you'll stay on it for a lot longer. So it does give, I don't know, it's, something to do probably, and new information that I like to learn about.
Okay.
That's probably a good thing.
So you use it for like technical research
Yeah.
as well. Okay. What sort of experience do you have using sound in like film? I mean, have you done like any sound recording, like sound mixing or anything like that?
Yeah. For 264, I believe, short film.
Yeah.
Last year, we had to obviously make a short film and do all that for it, and I had to do certain things to the sound in Final Cut that I wasn't totally sure what to do with,
Yeah.
because I hadn't really learned that much about sound. But I found it on websites how to do it.
Okay.
Um,
So do you know stuff like about like the science of sound and whole patterns? No.
Nope.
Parametric EQ, notch filters, and reverb.
Nope.
Okay.
unless I found a site online to find it, I would
Okay.
have not known about it at all.
Okay. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate your skills in comparison to a professional? So obviously 10 being professional, 1 being unprofessional. Maybe somewhere in the middle.
Probably about 4 or a 5, only because I haven't used it as much as I probably should have, and know as much as I probably should have.
Okay.
That's one of the main things, and because sound is very, very important in film,
Yes.
and not many people know a lot about sound.
Okay. Just 2 more questions left. What is the single most problematic thing to sound with you?
Background noise, ambience.
Okay.
Ambience is a mean thing, because you don't notice it when you're filming, the ambient sound, unless you've got proper sound mix out and you've got your headphones and you've got everything going on. You don't pick it up at all. It's only when you go to look at the footage that you realise, wait, there's something in the background that I don't know what it is. So then you have to find how to fix it or reshoot the footage that you already have. So that's probably the most problematic thing for me.
Okay, fair enough. Is there anything else that you would want from a site like this that we haven't covered?
You know about your scripts?
No, not this. I mean, for the other one, 160.
The scripts.
Person to person.
Fun.
Yeah.
That's
Fun.
one fun, right? So like interactive videos where you actually learn more about the sound. So like little games that you can
Okay.
app kind of things. Just so that the kinesthetic learners, so the ones who learn by doing things, can then they can learn it through the little game or something. Because it's all well and good going in, but if you don't, do you understand what I'm
I
saying?
understand exactly what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people have said the same thing, believe it or not.
Yeah.
So, okay.
But
Alright.
yeah, I think that, and because it's mostly to do with sound, like more like diagrams for sound waves in like Final Cut, because I don't understand them at all, like sound wave wise. But if there's a few diagrams of like why this is probably problematic and why you've got this much noise and stuff on this, then that would probably be helpful.
Okay.
So that you can then use that to reference your own thing and be like, well, that may be the problem. So you're
Okay.
learning what to do, but you're interacting with the website at the same time.
Okay.
So yeah,
That's,
that's probably why.
Some good feedback.
Yeah.
All right. I'll end it there. But thank you very much for your time.
It's all right.